Today I actually went and played in a tournament. It was a very small tournament, but I wasn't expecting to do well. I played mono blue Beerus, and yeah, just wanted to show you guys what I played. I played 4 Bomas, 4 Guasus, basically searching the deck like turn 1, making sure that I can have plays later on down the line, because this whole deck is like built to like last until you have like 12 mana, 16 mana, whatever. I played 4 Whis Coercion, 4 Senzu Beam, and 4 Objections because of the staples. 4 Mafuba. So this plus the Coercions were like made sure that I like didn't die by like turn 5 from like Vegetas and stuff. 4 Piccolos, another blue staple. Only 2 Jocos. It was like 4 at one point, but like it would like clog in my hand, honestly. 3 of the ramping and 1 of the blocker, just because sometimes like you didn't want to spend 4 mana earlier, so you would just get the blocker because it was going to like guaranteed almost get you another turn, to where like you could just have more mana anyway. For the energy boost Beerus, just to like KO certain cards they were having problems with.
Is that like your only KO card in the deck though?
Yeah, it's the only KO card, but like there are other cards in the deck that like dealt with. 3 results of training. I'm not sure if I actually like this. It wound up like I did it twice, but like the thing is like had those like this conflicts with Piccolo sometimes, and it was kind of awkward. But at the same time, it would like, because people would just leave me at 5 health and not attack me, which I was fine with. But it gets to a point where like they'll start dropping like 3 drops and 4 drops that I can't deal with unless I'm awakened. And if you play results, you can awaken and like start dealing with that stuff. Like I played 2 of the 7-drop Beerus. It's kind of like a boss monster, if you will, like a creature that I can drop at the end of the game, and it'll probably end the game without having to have 12 mana or 16 mana. And it usually won me the game. Sometimes people would scoop before I even played it. Yeah, it's really good. And then this was the other card that like dealt with boards and like certain like problematic cards. This is Zeno the Plain God. Basically, like just shuffles back your hand and the fields back into the deck. And yeah, so I would just let them drop all their 3 drops, their 4 drops that I couldn't deal with, and I would just summon this, put it all back in their deck. They draw 5, which means like during the early game, you're just going to be attacking them, and you like give them like a life, and then you give them another life the next turn, and like by the end of the like when you drop this, they usually have like 9, 10 cards in hand. So like you're shuffling all 9, 10 cards in their hand and their board of like 3 and 4 drops all back into the deck, and they draw 5 cards. So then like you also have this because it stays on board, and you attack them, and they have to combo to like not die.
Yeah, and I think you would like try to make them take as much damage.
Literally, yeah. It's not even about the damage; just trying to get their cards out of their hand, because in the next turn you're just gonna drop this. So like
that makes sense.
Yeah. 2 of this card's ass. I hated this card.
This card.
This card, like, legitimately, like, the way you play this card is you're trying to have, like, all your gods on the field to where you can put them in your energy, but you never have more than 1. Because, like, you're dropping, like, by this time, when you have 7 mana, you're dropping cards like this, when you're only going to have the 1. You're never going to have, like, Guasus left over this late in the game. And if you do, it's literally because they're not attacking you, and you're not comboing with it, because you're not attacking either. And at that point, like, this is just like free ramp every turn, like when you have this and when you get off Guasu. That was like the only way I played it. So I probably cut it for something. And then 2 Whises. It started out at 4, and then it's a terrible card. Yeah, I never got it off. It was more of like energy, just a free energy every turn, and like.
Yeah, but I mean, if you got the
the point of the deck is to get to this.
Yeah.
And I would keep it in hand if I draw it like past like turn 8 or some point towards that. I would keep it in my hand and I would try. But a lot of times they're gonna like scoop to like the 7-drop Beerus or to like just lose to Zeno. So
yeah, just I guess that when it's best out of one, it's just really discouraging to get all your cards put away.
yeah, it was best out of one today. So like honestly, people were just like giving me like early game like it would go back and forth. Literally, I would just attack. They would be like no negate, okay, cool, no boost because I'm not gonna give them a card, and then they would either have to waste a card or they would just take a life. And like I said, like eventually I would just drop the Zeno and get rid of all those cards that I just gave them off of attacking for nothing because I was using no cards with the attack. And then once they start dropping boos and stuff, you're just popping them with Beerus. So you don't really care about that either. So
when I was talking about I just realized that this Beerus pops stuff too.
Yeah.
And so you got a lot of removal in the deck pretty much.
Yeah.
I totally thought that the energy boosted Beerus was the only thing that was
No, yeah, this deals with like things like Kale, which was like the biggest thing
just
today.
good double strike too.
Yeah, that was another thing. Like it deals with a problematic monster, which is like the main thing you need in this deck. But like people forget, like I'll just attack and oh, it's 2, not just 1.
20k double strike.
Yeah, it's not even. It's really good.
Yeah.
And at 4-drop, it's like, sure, I'll play it for 4.
Cool.
Yeah, you have no problem. Like you can drop this like by like turn 3 and turn 2 or turn 3 and use it to effect because you play the objections and the Luises and stuff. Like that's whatever. But like,
so if you're like to cut anything out, like what would be absolute?
This card.
Yeah, those cards.
This card. You could even cut these, but like the thing is with these cards, the reason why you play these honestly is because Guasu can search it.
Yeah.
Like the higher God count you have in the deck, the higher this is gonna go off.
Yeah. But you search Piccolo too, which is just
yeah, which is stupid. Piccolo is a god, so
yeah. And then I would try playing the results at 2 for the fact that I tried it. And I always saw it like
yeah. I would play this if you weren't playing like if your area is not best of 1 or whatever your locals or whatever you're playing at isn't best of 1, then I would side it.
Yeah.
Just like if your opponent is like not that aggressive and doesn't if they attack you, it's fine. Then you don't need to side this in. But if they're like kind of laying off and not attacking you, you would side this in because that's the only time it comes up is when they just leave you at 5 life and you just have to.
So like, what did you play against? What were your matchups? So we only had like an 8-man tournament, but it was like.
But it was like this, yeah.
There weren't any easy decks at all.
And then like this is like not a deck that people think about playing against.
Like they don't main cards and best of ones to counter this, so it's kind of like.
It was literally Gohan and 2 Vegetas. So like, I played against both Vegetas back to back, and both decks like got me down to 5 life, and I resulted them both. Because neither one of them wanted to let me awaken, because I was just like popping their cards each turn with Beerus.
I'll show this really quick because this guy, he like does 3 or less on his awakened side.
Yeah, and
then
2 or less.
2 or less on the other one, which is pretty good because Cell kind of does the same thing. It's unawakened side does 3 or less.
Yeah.
But that's not when it attacks or anything. You have to put a card from your hand, so you're kind of negging, but it's not really negging at the same
and
time.
it's really cool because like with Cell, you have to put a card in your hand and you pop a card, right? So you're losing a card from your hand. But with this, you could be attacking their leader yet still pop something on their board.
It's just kind of convenient at that point.
Yeah. So like you're using literally nothing to get advantage out of their field. So.
All right. Well. This is. I just like this deck for the fact that if you do manage to get this thing off the 16, I don't know.
I mean, I've
16
come close a couple times, but it's not realistic.
I just like the Whis a lot too. Yeah. If you get to that, it's just like it's kind of just win condition.
It's come close, but like I said, there are people that just like. I've literally at the last round or whatever, I tried to drop this for game because it was literally I was drawing for turn and I was about to play it and he was just like, no, you got it. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And they'll scoop before this comes because by this time, like they're either in a really good position or a really bad position.
And even if they're a really good one, Zeno is just like it'll just be like I'll put you back again.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, there you go.
This is Mono Blue Beerus.
Cool.